Hello everyone, we're Team 1 and we're going to introduce our team survey presentation. And the first part will be shown on the video presentation because our member Elvira is absent.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to share about the results of our team survey. Sergio, Tania, Elvira, and Lisa. And these are the today's outcomes. The first would be the background introduction of these interviewees, and the second would be food, education, traveling, daily life, and the last one would be conclusion. So as to the background, related to gender, age, and nationality. So let's get to the gender part. Most of the interviewees are female, which is 10 of them, and 4 of them are male, which is 59%. And according to age, the most of the interviewees are between 20 to 30, and most of the fewer one is like under 20 and over 30. And let's come to the nationality part. What's interesting is that most of them consider they are from only one country, while there are like 2 of them thought that they are from 2 different countries. So as you can see, most of them are from Europe, like Germany, UK, Slovakia, or Saxony. And another area which shares the same number of 4. They're from Philippines, Singapore, and even Indonesia. But there are also people from Turkey or even Honduras. And the people who is from dual nationality, they think that they come from Vietnam and US, and another one would be Germany and Russia. So we'll go to the next part, which is food.
And in this section, I'm going to introduce 2 topics. The first one is what kind of food do you recommend the most in your home country? And the second one is what foods do you like the most in Taiwan, and how about the dislike one? And what kind of food do you recommend the most in your home country? Every country has their own iconic food. For example, Turkish people will recommend little dumplings, and Vietnam people will recommend pho. Pho is something like noodles, but the color of it is transparent. And the Germany people will recommend bretzel. Bretzel is a kind of salty curved bread. And Czech people will recommend cheese garlic soup. And here, this one is also Czech. It called the dough, and it's a kind of sweet bread. And Honduras people will recommend baleadas. It's something look like burritos. And Slovakia people will recommend cheese potato dumplings, and Philippine people will recommend deep fried spring roll. And about Taiwan is famous for our delicious food. Many foreigners like our hot pot, our fried dumplings, our scallion pancake, our bubble milk tea, egg pancake, sweet potato balls. And most foreigners recommend bubble milk tea the most. And about the dislike things, many foreigners can't accept like organs of animals, food with blood, chicken feet, and the famous one is stinky tofu. About the education, we asked some foreigners to briefly introduce their education system, and I want to share a special example is German education system. Germany people will first enter basic school. It's like our elementary school for about 4 years. Then after they graduate, they will get into high school due to their according to their score, and it is chosen by the teacher, not their test score or activity certificate or something like that. So many parents or the student themselves will think that is unfair. And about the interaction between teachers and students, we may think that foreign people like foreign countries like UK, US, or Western countries, the people there will have more active interaction with their professors. In fact, some countries like Germany, Vietnam, and Philippines, their interaction with their professors are even colder than us. For example, German people. Some students may think that if you have a good relationship with your professor, which means you want to get a higher score, so you do that purposely. And of course, Turkey, Slovakia, Czech students have a good interaction with their professor.
For the next part is traveling, and so we have two questions for this part, which is, have you found any special tourist attraction in Taiwan? And besides Taiwan, what country or countries have you visited before? So for our first question, have you found any special tourist attraction in Taiwan? I think most of them go to famous places that we all know, such as the Taipei Rose Garden, Sunbrook Lake, and above. But most of them like the Sunbrook Lake the most because they think the vibe there is really chill, and the islands, the lake, and the mountains. They like the view over there. And one of the interviewees mentioned about the Longshan Temple because she thinks that most temple in Taiwan is shabby and old, but she thinks the Longshan Temple is really colorful and brightness. So this is the only temple that she really likes. And for the next one is, what country or countries have you visited before? So after our interviews, we find out that most of the exchange students, they travel to many countries besides from Taiwan. For example, like if they come to Taiwan for exchange, they will travel to countries around us, such as Japan, Hong Kong, Korea, and China, Singapore. And especially for the European students, they even travel in the Europe countries because we think that it's because of they can cross through the border easier. So most of them travel to many countries aside from Taiwan. And for the next part is about daily life, and it is what do teenagers do during their leisure time in their country, and how do people in your country regard LGBTQ community? So for the first question, to be honest, teenagers around the world do similar things, like we go to movies and we go partying, we go to cafes and maybe museum. I don't think we go to museum, but maybe. And but for the sport part, there are different kind of sports, such as countries like Slovakia and Czech Republic, they play ice hockey. And for European countries, they play football. And I think that Asian countries play basketball and baseball more. And for the alcohol part, because like in Germany, they can drink beer at the age of 14, as long as their parents are aside them, so they drink more than us. And for the LGBTQ, this question, we get almost exactly same answer from all the interviewees because they express that most younger generations are quite open with the LGBTQ community, but the elderly are more conservative, so usually the old elderly don't approve with the LGBTQ community, but most of them are quite optimistic with this because they are sure in the near future, when maybe the old people die, more people will accept the LGBTQ community. But there are two situations, like in the European countries, most of them believe in a Christian. And for the Christians, they actually don't approve with LGBTQ. So this is a hard question they will need to face in the near future. And for like Turkey, they believe in Islam. The Islam actually approve with having feelings for same sexuality people, but they cannot do things more like kissing or other things, except they are married. But in their countries, the LGBTQ communities are not. It's still illegal to get married. So maybe in the future, when it is legal, they can have more people to accept the LGBTQ community. And that's all for me.
I want to add some compliments. Yes, and just as I mentioned, German people, after they graduate basic schools, they will went to high school. And the high school, there are 3 levels of high school. The best one is called Gymnasium, and then Realschule, and the worst one is Hauptschule. And because why do they feel unfair is because most of the society elite, like politicians or some high-income people, most of them are graduated from the Gymnasium school. So all of them want to get into a Gymnasium. So, but the teacher decide their future, so the German people will feel unfair and angry about that.
And the last part is about the conclusion. And there are 4 points that I consider the most impressive. Education system and different living and eating habits, rich experiences, and the last one is various kinds of perspectives. And as my member mentioned that in German it is a very complicated education system, and although they still do the exams and assignments as in school, at school, they are focusing more on their own business, like whether to exchange abroad or not. And I think I get the most impression on their rich experiences because they have lots of friends around the world, and they often go abroad and explore different places. So I think those impacts on their perspectives, they have higher horizon than us. And after interviewing, we usually share our Instagram with them. And in a few days, I often saw them sharing pictures where they go to hiking in the mountains or swimming in the ocean. They're somewhere, even in Taiwan, I don't know. They're not tourist attractions, but it is the beauty of nature. So I think they often keep in touch in nature, and that makes them more have more friendly and generous prospects to others. And this is our presentation. Thank you for listening.